Hey guys, Bulbasaur here once again, and welcome to Battle 2. Now, last time I was kind of rushing because I want to get through everything before time runs out and cover some of the basics, and I'll go back over some of the stuff I didn't kind of explain quite clearly. Here, because of the earthquake, our path has been blocked off, so we have to go the long way around to get back to Guardiana. However, and like I said, it's because of that earthquake. So, like I said I was going to do last time, I'm giving you a general idea of the field of battle, where all the enemies are. Now, this battle should be a short battle, but it's artificially lengthened out because of these narrow passages. What you're going to end up, because of these very narrow corridors and these land effects, you're essentially stuck in these bottlenecks. So for a good few minutes, you're not going to be making much progress movement-wise because you're going to be stuck right here the entire time. So my piece of strategy on this is I'm doing pretty much the best thing you can do. Hans is going to be moving up. Hans or Ken, probably going to be Hans. He's going to be moving up as quickly as you can. My best advice: get your characters out and as far up as you can, as quickly as you can, in the first part of the battle. It's still going to take a while because you are going to have characters who can't go anywhere and you will be stuck. Do the best you can. Use Hans, possibly Ken, probably most definitely Hans, as I said, to snipe at enemies as you go. Maybe eliminate some. The goblins are not going to take any time to attack you during this initial part of the battle. They're actually going to be moving up towards the top of that mountain range up there. All the goblins and those two dark dwarves are going to be meeting at that apex point at the top of the mountains. So your best bet, again, is to snipe the goblins as they try to make their way up there. And for everybody else, just worry about them getting to catching up, moving them as far up as you can. So anyway, a few things I want to clarify is I said with Teo and with I think it was Teo and Lo, I will be trying to get them up to level 4. Teo, as I said, I want her to get Blaze level 2, and I want Lo to get Detox level 1. It's important that if you can get Lo to level 4, do so before the beginning of Chapter 2. Detox is going to be a godsend in that first battle. So that's all I have to say. I think at this point you can figure out what all the magical abilities do. I'll explain some of the others as we get to them. So, like I said, this is an artificially lengthened battle, mainly because of the bottleneck, and then later you have to cover a large amount of territory. So, like I said, just snipe the golems as you can, and just work your way up. You want to try to get, once you get everybody out into this mountainous clear area where Hans is sniping, start to take a little more of your time, because you don't want to rush into what's going to be one of the two major points of action in this battle, and that's the top of the mountains and across the river near Guardiana at the end. So you want to take your time. Here, I finally been able to get loot to catch up, so we're going to take care of a few goblins before the main part of the battle begins. At this point, I'm keeping Gong down here because we really don't need to move them. Once you get, like I said, once you get them in that mountain space where it's a little bit more spacious, start to get your characters back into group formation. But right now, I'm pretty much getting some early strikes in, and that's about it. Other things I didn't explain. Wow, man, I just try to go through as much as possible. I'm sure I left something out. Well, let's see. I think I explained everything good enough. Yeah, see, here we go. The goblins they're getting into attack formation now. They see that we're actually getting close, and it's actually getting easier to get our members out of that bottleneck area. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everybody into formation to start to attack. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to have Ken be able to join us until much later. So not much experience for Ken at this point in the battle. One thing I should say about Ken, now that I'm thinking about it, I said that with the 3-tier formation, of course, that first front row is for characters who specialize in one-on-one combat. And then that second row is for long range, and third row for healers. Ken at this point falls into a very interesting point in that. Ken has a lance, and what that lance means is he can attack both close range and long range. He has a stats for a close range fighter, but he can attack long range. So what I do is I stick him and try to attack with him long range as possible, and he kind of fills in necessary junction positions. If I have to have somebody to kind of be point for extra close range, I know that Ken can take it. So Ken plays this nice middle ground as of this moment. Later on, when I can get some, actually it's not a lance, it's a spear. Never mind. He has a spear right now. A lance is what you can get later, a bronze lance. Lances actually are not long range; they are close range. So you can get the best weapons later on will be close range for Ken. But right now, it's going to switch back and forth. I'll let you know. So Ken and some of the other knights later in the game are going to be in some very interesting positions where they might at some points be able to fight long range. And when they can fight long range and fill that kind of position, I have them under long range fighters. That's my category. But if you're going to look at long range fighters, consider your long range fighters your mages and your archers specifically. So now something else. When I was talking about, I was trying to get Lo and Teo up as to level 4 as quickly as possible. That was mainly, casting magic. However, one thing that's interesting about 1 HP, when I get enemies to 1 HP, and that's why you saw me not attack this guy, the other goblin, is that anybody who casts magic normally can't hit very hard. Gong is the exception as of this moment, but he's quickly going to lose attack power. What happens is, if I have an enemy that's 1 HP and I can get like one of my mages or one of my healers up there, I will have them attack directly, since all they can do is 1 HP of damage anyway. And actually doing a physical attack gives you more experience. So if you want to, that's a good way to gain experience points for your healers. See, I put Gong into line because I figured he can take the hit, and so I try to get him some more experience by having him attack one of these goblins. Is that always the smartest move? No, it is not, and later on, because I'm trying to get Teo and Lo to a more advanced level, I'm leaving some enemies undefeated just so I can get to them when they have 1 HP with Lo or Teo, and that can open up some problems. Not in this battle, but wait until we get to battle 3. You're going to see a lot of problems. Another interesting thing, if you probably noticed with Teo, when she casts Blaze, I am very particular about when I have her cast Blaze. Normally for me it doesn't matter if it's near the end of the battle how she casts Blaze or not. But I normally will not use Blaze Blaze on an enemy if it's below 5 HP. For me, I consider that a waste, and so I'll have Teo hold back on her magic points. That way I can focus on enemies that are more of a threat. Like I said, if it's in the battle, all rules are out the window. So, anyway, that's how I normally handle spells like Plagues, Freeze, etc. So here I am trying to get Teo some more experience points. See, she does 1 damage, but she gains 26 experience points. Teo's not much. Your mages aren't much to worry about because their offensive magic is going to give them a lot of experience points anyway. More experience points than your healers are going to get casting heal. Dark Dwarf should, they're still going to be a little bit of a threat at this point, but they are lessening as far as how threatening they are. Because you're getting a lot more experience. Now, what else? I know there was one other thing that came to mind. I'll just continue talking. I'm glad I was able to get Ken up here. Normally by this point, though, it's very strange in my playthrough, because normally by this point, Ken is normally gaining a lot more experience in my playthroughs than he is right now, and I find that kind of interesting. Ken, once he starts gaining levels, will gain HP like crazy. Ken can basically become a tank, and he's pretty good at gaining experience. And that's one thing that kind of surprised me in this playthrough is he wasn't able to get as much experience as he normally could. Hans, on the other hand, is gaining a crap load of experience, which is good. I'm not saying that that's bad by any means. The imagination, that means I can actually focus on maybe on improving Hans' attack power later on in the project when his attack power really starts to diminish. But, okay. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to talk about now. One thing I mentioned last time is I really like my healers. That's not going to really become apparent until after I have to pick and choose party members. But you get a total of 4 healers in the game. You can get. Me personally, I like being able to heal my people. And so I will when I have the chance, I'll use all the healers at my disposal. I know a lot of people do not do that. That's my personal playing style, and I am not saying that's the only way to play. I know a lot of people who will only need 1 healer. Me, I prefer 4. Do I need 4? Probably not, but it's nice to be able to pack the extra healers just in case your enemy takes them out. Another thing to mention: how I kind of prioritize healing in this game. I pay attention to the life bar. It includes a lot, of course you're going to pay attention to the life bar, but it's doing a lot of math in my head. How I do this is I figure out what half HP is. If a character gets to half of their HP or less, I consider it's time to heal them. Other than that, if you're not at half your HP, I figure you're good to go. Shush, dog. My dog's trying to get this LP. Shush. It's battle. I'm talking strategy. Okay, be quiet. Anyway, half an HP. What happens if they have, and you're going, well, that's fine if you have an even amount of HP. What happens if you have, let's say, an odd amount? I round up and then figure out half. That's how I heal in this game. Now, wait until we get to Shining Force 2. It's going to be very different. Now, what I'm going to do here, like I said, artificial length, is after your first encounter at the top of the mountains, you have a huge, wide open area to get down to the bottom. Now, you can have your characters rush down there, but some characters are faster than others. So the best thing I do, even though it's going to take longer, is I keep them in this group formation. It's going to take longer, but you're trying to get your characters down to the bottom. Waiting for you is 1 Dark Dwarf and 2 Rune Knights. And like I said, the Rune Knights at this point in the game are your most difficult challenge, and you don't want to take them head on. So instead of having a close range, having characters go across the bridge, get stuck in a bottleneck, and get ambushed, what I'm going to do, and what you really want to do, is across the river to the Rune Knights, position long-range fighters. Your long-range fighters at this point are Teo, Hans, and Ken. Position, I don't care which one you pick, but put one across from each Rune Knight and attack. Try to, if you can, draw the Dark Dwarf in so that, you can be utilizing all of your characters to the best of your ability. For me, even though I know that they like going for my main character first, because that's how the AI is programmed, the AI will go after your main character at all costs, it seems. So your main character is always vulnerable, and if they're in a position they can get to him, most of the time they will. That's how the AI is programmed. Otherwise, they might go for healer, may go for mage, or whatever. Sometimes you can't really predict it. So I don't want to put my character in harm's way, so I'm having Luke block the bridge and maybe try to lure the Dark Dwarf in. Meanwhile, Ken and Hans, again, are playing Archer and trying to take out the Rune Knights before we really get into a battle, because I do not want to be flanked on 3 sides by enemies. So it's going to take a little while, because I'm going to eliminate the enemies before I take anybody on heads on. Meanwhile, I'm going to put Teo behind Luke just in case the Dark Dwarf decides to get in the game. I really debated with myself about what to do here, and I decided that I'm going to put Luke on that choke point. I'm going to put it on the bridge and see if I can draw the Dark Dwarf in. Meanwhile, I figure it's the end of the battle, and Lo needs some experience. He's still at level 1, so let's heal my main character. So, now if I remember correctly, let's see what happens as my my archer continues to shoot the Rune Knight. I think 1 to 2 more turns, and both of these Rune Knights should be dead. And see, they're not even going to budge from their spots. Place Teo again behind Luke. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, the Dark Dwarf is attacking Luke. I've sufficiently drawn him in. Now what this means is Luke can actually take on the Dark Dwarf, and Teo can take on the Dark Dwarf. What we want to do is we want to get an opening through here, okay? The Dark Dwarf's really blocking our way. Normally what I want to do is take out one of the enemies, okay? If you can take out one of the enemies, then you can actually position your other characters around so they can attack the other enemies. So that they aren't being flanked, but they can get around the enemies and flank the enemies. That's what you want to do the most if you possibly can. That's the best strategy to use at this point. So that's what I recommend. Now, another thing, and this is for a few other battles, if you are getting the crap beat out of you and there's no way you think you can win by killing all the enemies, the best thing to do is just run for Guardiana Castle. And once your main character enters Guardiana Castle, no matter how many enemies are left on the field, battle's over. So yeah, if you possibly can, if the battle's not going away, head for the castle. Now, I'm pretty much about ready to beat both of the enemies. I'm getting Luke out of the way so I don't lose him. I can kind of keep a perfect record going up at this point. I'm going to be killing both the Rune Knights. Actually, I should be killing everybody at this point. And you know what? The best way to end the battle like this is to go out with style. So, let's finish off this Rune Knight, and we're going to need to kill a Dark Dwarf. So, I'm thinking, who should I kill the Dark Dwarf with? Nah, I'm not going to use Teo. I'm going to use my healer. I'm going to use Lo to kill the Dark Dwarf. So, Lo bonks him on the head, gives him a headache, and kills him for 1. He gains 48 points and 25 coins. So, we need to find out what's going on in Guardiana. So until then, guys,